Hello, everyone. Welcome to Our Neighborhood, the CCTV show that showcases local talent, interesting people, and great events that are right here in the Claremont area. Each week, our guests share their personal stories or demonstrate their particular skill or invite us to walk a mile in their vision. Altogether, our guests create the fabric of this great place that we call our neighborhood. Our guest today is Lisa Bell, owner of Solar Products Anpiwa. Solar Products Anpiwa is a company that helps people with small-scale solar projects. Welcome, Lisa. I'm glad you could be with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate that.
And Lisa, lately there has been a lot of talk about solar power. I think most people are still really intimidated by it.
That's true. It can be intimidating when you don't understand things, and so it's been my mission to start introducing people to solar energy on a smaller level. I find that most people, when they're comfortable with something, when they get to know it, it's not as scary, so you don't have that what if factor of putting a lot of money into something when you can just maybe go out and try a small product, see how it works, see what the ups and downs are, see what you need to improve, and then if you want to go do something like a larger product, like a full array solar panel like you see in front of some of the electric companies and so forth, you're a little bit more well prepared to do it. Little things like you probably never clean your own furnace at home, right? Because you need somebody special. Mm-hmm. Well, ladies, if you can clean a window, you can keep a solar panel clean, okay? But there are some better cleaners than others, but they do have to be kept clean to actually work efficiently. So, cleanliness and all that. But a lot of people have been coming up to me and saying, Lisa, look, what steps do I take when I'm thinking this through? And so I've got another article coming out more recently for the basic person, like that says, I want to start a solar panel, what do I need to think about? Okay, did you know about anything called solar rights? It's nice to establish things that go with your deed of your property, but did you know that, for instance, if you live on 200 acres, you put your solar panel right in the middle of it, you're probably not going to have a problem. You might still want to establish your solar rights anyway, because down the road, you may not have that 200 acres together. But if you live in a neighborhood and maybe your neighbor's house is 15, 20 feet away, and you want to put some solar panels up, and they decide they're going to grow peach trees, the really big peach trees in their yard on their side of the fence. You haven't established your solar rights. You've got your panel set up. They've got their peach tree set up. What happens? Your solar panel does not get light. There's a little bit of a neighborhood problem there. So some things you may need to do that, and a lot of information is on the Desire website. It's DSIRE, it's Department of Energy site. There is also many things that you can find there on, like New Hampshire, you have to go to town meeting to vote to get tax breaks and stuff. So many states can give you tax breaks, whereas we in New Hampshire don't have that income tax, so we can't really give a break on it. But at town meeting, you can get certain tax breaks for each individual town, and sometimes when you need permits for something, some places do not allow solar panels. You really have to check. And homeowners associations have been known to be a little more than a little fussy about it because some people view them as ugly. We're trying to get them used to things, they're not always going to look like that.
Well, aren't there some, it would vary from town to town, but some, for example, I'm from Vermont, and in Vermont, the state statutes protect the right to use certain renewable energy devices.
True.
And so you may not even be required to get a zoning permit or a building permit to put them up. But that, I'm sure, varies from state to state and town to town.
Yes.
So your advice is good to check with your local government and your state statutes as well to see what your rights are or what you're going to have for obstacles.
Right. That's all part of the planning process, and I've recommended that for a long time. Just go through and solve the little detail things first. It'll give you a lot less headaches down the road when you really want to bring something up. anything new in a neighborhood, you know, people are always, we're going to be people. We're going to be skeptical. We're going to look at, you know, what ifs and, you know, how is this going to affect things. But solar energy, when I look at it, it's one of the least, I think it's the most economically friendly and makes the most sense. If the sun's going to shine on your house every day, it's like, you know, letting water just go to waste or something. You wouldn't waste other resources. Why are we wasting solar?
So how did you get involved in this small-scale solar project business?
Well, it was an ad in the mail. It said, you know, come start a business, and I kind of like to work on my own. And I didn't want to repeat a lot of the things that were out there. I wanted to be a web business because I had been planning to move. I have been happily married for 31 years, but when you tend to own a brick and mortar, bless you that do that, you tend to get another spouse. And I'm not the type that likes to stay tied to an office. So I could be out in the middle of a field somewhere and I could write something up or do some work. Nobody has to know that I'm not in the office. So I like that freedom of being on the web. So that's how I started that. And I didn't want to have products, as I said, that were I like jewelry, but there were a lot of people selling jewelry. And when I started back in 2008 as Anpiwa.com, I wanted to make sure that I had something that was new, upcoming, that was going to last. And solar energy, to me, even at that time, seemed like it was going to be something that was not only going to last, but it was going to grow. And it really has.
And that brings us to the name of your business. Can you tell us a little more about the name?
Okay. Well, web-based businesses, as you know, you have to pick domains, and I have several. To find a .com even back in 2008 that had anything to do with solar was nearly impossible, so I went to the Dakota language site. My mom had originally told me I was part Native American, and she thought Blackfoot. So I went there originally to look up the Blackfoot word. This long and unpronounceable. But I went to the Dakota. We'd traveled across the country, so I've seen several different tribes. And I said, let me just check the Dakota Lakota site because I wanted to see what it was. And everything in their language ends in WI. And Anpa was their word for sun. So I went with that. And recently, within the last 2 years, we've gone to solarproducts.me. Instead of a .com, we went to .me. It's a little bit more personal. As you can see, I try to keep personal products, so I figured that would be very easy to stick in people's minds. Solar products for me or .me, you know, something that stuck. And it's been pretty successful as far as, you know, getting the branding out there and things like that. Now people kind of know what it is. And so I've just been picking up quality products. I used to have just a ton of garden lights, and I love my garden lights. They come in like dogs and, you know, they decorate my yard. But and as soon as I find a supplier that has quality, I'm really going hard for quality right now. I like the American-made products just because at one time, I know American-made was not well looked upon, but in order to shine in this new market that we've had and bring things back home, they've had to go higher on quality. Almost all of my suppliers, the supplies that you see here, are generally speaking made in the United States by United States companies, and I'm happy to say that I'm getting more kids products from a company out west. I just talked to them today, so really happy about that. So I feel like I'm helping out my fellow citizens, I guess you would say, by bringing
That's wonderful.
their products to light. I'm helping them, they're helping me, and together I think we're bringing a little bit more to people's lives. I would not want to be person who went out hiking. I admire adventurous people. I really do. I think you should take chances in life, but be smart about it. If you're going to go out hiking before the worst storm of the century, please understand that you are going to need to keep a cell phone handy, charged, so that you can hopefully call for help if you really need it, because if you're going to do those things, you know, at least be that much prepared. Be prepared with having a light. I don't know about you ladies, but I've had the surprise of going out to my car and it's decided it's not going to start. It's pitch black and okay. You open the hood, you can't see a blessed thing. You can't turn on any lights in the car because you're not going to see it because the battery's dead. But if you have a little something like, can I get up?
Sure.
Okay. you have remembered to even stick this on your purse, you know, to charge up in the light. Here's the little solar panel, rubbery grip. I'll let you try it in a minute, and I'm going to let you show it for the camera. Just flip this switch here. It's enough to see if you've got a leak or, you know, a little something to get you through. Maybe if you've forgotten to turn on your light at your door so that you can see to get in.
That's the thing I find the most challenging is putting the key in the door when the door light is not on.
Yes, how many times have we all forgotten that?
Yeah.
You know?
Or trying to get to your car in the dark. Can be
Yes,
a
and then those
challenge.
pretty little words come out that you're not supposed to say on television.
That's
It
wonderful.
just spirals out of control. So this is probably one of the least expensive items that I have on my site, and I think it just makes a lot of sense. And you, like I said, leave it on your purse, put it on the dash of your car, let it charge up and stay that way, and then you've got a light.
So do you leave it in the car, in the windshield? How do you charge it?
The best way, okay, like these windows here, they're UV coated for people not to get burned. Solar panels love direct sunlight, but you can leave them in a window. It just takes a little bit longer for them to charge. I learned that when I was trying to charge the big guy here. I thought, oh, I'll be safe and just put it on my, like you would, what do you call it? Oh my gosh, a windshield cover so that the car doesn't get hot. Well, I thought, well, I'll just lay it on the dash of my truck. And it wasn't charging right, and I called the engineer. He's so easy to talk to. You put it on the inside of the car? Yeah, your windshield is coated with UV protected. That's not going to help it that much. Got out and put it on the hood. What do you know? I should have thought of that.
So direct sunlight.
Direct sunlight is best for solar panels, not so much for people. So when we go outside to do any outside work, you know, whenever I take people outside, it's like, yeah, we're going to need some shields. I'll put something on for you, but not for them. They love the direct sunlight. The heat is harder for them. So, like you would think that it would, because of the way a solar panel works, molecules where they have to jump to create the energy spread apart in the heat, contract in the cold. So on the 60-degree days that have light, because it's only light that these things count, I have an easier time getting them fully charged very quickly than I do in 90-degree days. So for those of you who are thinking we need a lot of heat, yeah, Arizona, you know, they put all those panels out there. They are challenged with that. You have to account for that if you're going to put up a big system too. Understand, like your sister in North Carolina is not going to have the same temperature that you have, so it's going to be a little bit different, and her position in the sun. You know, all those things factor in.
So you're saying that in the winter here would be a better time to get solar because it's colder?
And the leaves are off the trees.
Oh, that too.
You have to look at blockage too. Now, we do have our cloudy days, but these will pick up some even on cloudy days, and they're coming up with solar panels, believe it or not, that even work underwater and in the dark. We're progressing.
Oh
These
goodness.
not necessarily here, but that will be coming. And we also have the peel and sticks, like you can go up and down the side of a building. You know, I didn't think so, but they're really thin. And I think for people who have older roofs and stuff, that's a consideration. Or if you live in a windy area, like you might not want them on the roof because of you've heard your roof on a windy day, right? Creak if they've got something up there. A lot of good things happen. So I don't know. I kind of lost my
stick.
peel. I've had peel and stick, or just the thin film. It's a lot less weight. You do need a little bit more of them to cover a little bit more area, but
And what would you use that to power?
well, you could use it to power whatever you wanted. It could power your house. You would just need it's a little bit more than the glass ones. But if you have a roof that isn't rated for as much weight, or maybe there's some odd-shaped roofs, like at our fairgrounds, it's dome-shaped, and I think maybe a peel and stick might go better on that if you were going to use a rooftop than if you were trying to put the rigid panels on. So it all depends. And if you're going vertical, like for a building, well, let's say you were going to go up and down this wall. Let's say this was an exposed wall. You would probably want to stick something to the side of it. You don't want it